Today we are going to look at binding the IA6 and the IA6B. For being the same family of receivers, they are immensely different. And so after we talk about binding them, we're actually going to go into a little overview of what the differences and the capabilities are between them as well. So with that, let's get started. Now, contrary to popular belief, the IA6 here is not a very good receiver. It's a very budget receiver, if anything. However, it's included with a lot of Eachine products, so it's still sold, and it's something that we still got to talk about a lot. Now, depending on what quadcopter you have, if it's an Eachine variant like the Racer 250, you're gonna have one of these little guys in there as well. You'll notice mine is broken right there. The power plug is missing, and that is what prompted me to ever switch from this in the first place. Because when I had this, I didn't know of anything better, and it was going to be a pain in the butt and all that great stuff. So sometimes need facilitates change, and I had the need to make a change because this was broke, and this thing is actually really hard to get a hold of if you ever need a replacement as well. So this is what you'll typically see inside your quadcopter. Now, the other bad news is when this is sitting inside your quadcopter like this, well, it's a little hard to work with. So the first thing you're probably going to want to do is to pull your receiver out and pop that plug off. Boom. Because what Eachine also doesn't really document is that in order to bind the receiver, you need what's called a bind plug, which is this little guy right here. If you buy one of these, it comes with it. It should really come with this too, but different subject, different day. A bind plug is essentially a wire that joins the two outside connectors. So if you need to make your own, it's not that big of a deal. Or even if you don't use a plug and you just connect wires, you basically need to do the two outside pins on this very last one that's labeled B/VCC. And that's how it's labeled on both, B/VCC. If you have the IA6B here, ignore these two top three banks each and just deal with this one down here. So this is going to be your bind channel. So you will plug that in, and then the second thing that you need to do is you need to provide power to the receiver. Now, if you're using this, you can no longer plug this in, and it's going to make powering the receiver a lot harder. That's why you really can't do it with this thing on there. What you need to do is this middle set of pins is a positive rail. This last set of pins right here is a negative rail. So with your bind plug on, you basically need to provide power, positive to the middle pin, negative to the last pin. Doesn't particularly matter which one you do it to. Whoop, almost plugged down backwards. Boom. And you'll see blinking red light. Again, whether you did it in the second channel, the third channel, so on and so forth, it's a rail. The purpose being in older RC stuff, you would power one side, but then you might have servos that actually receive their power from the other pins. So, it's like I said, that's why it's a rail. Anyways, easy peasy. Power your receiver. Blinking red light. What you'll do is turn on your transmitter. Let me get to a let's just go 4. I'm not using 4 for anything. So basically, blinking red light. And what you'll do is you'll hold your bind button and turn it on. And that is it. You'll see RX binding okay, and this light will turn to solid. And then from there, just turn that off, remove your power, unplug your bind plug, and then from there on, it is bound. One-time thing only. Ta-da! So, same process on here. However, the reason I can't show it to you on this is because this leads to my second point. You need to be absolutely sure that your middle pin is positive and your last pin is negative. If you get those switched around, bad things will happen. Second thing you need to make sure is that the power that you're supplying is between 4 to 6.5 volts. 5 volts is about perfect. which this pack is supplying that I'm using for that. So if you have a 2S with a JST connector, that would work just fine. However, if you don't have that, say if you have the Racer 250, something else that you could use is you could solder wires off of here, because this board has a 5-volt BEC right here. This provides your 5 volts to the flight controller and so on and so forth. But right here are some pads that you can use. So you can use the 5-volt plus for your positive and the ground for your negative. The Falcon 180 also has a set of pads in the back that you can use to supply power, so on and so forth. But yeah, if you don't have a pack, try to use your power distribution board to get the 5-volt BEC routed to here, and make sure that's correct, because if you don't, well, this one has been plugged in backwards and been okay. However, this one apparently has no protection diode and, well, releases magic smoke when plugged in backwards and almost catches on fire. You don't want that. Take care of your stuff. Positive on the middle rail, negative on the back rail. If you'll notice that, I'm even plugging it in correctly now, and it's still doing that. Because once this thing goes bad, it goes bad. What? The light's blinking. Holy crap. That is crazy. It smoked like all hell, and now the light's blinking again. Let's try buying this thing. That would be hilarious if this thing still had something of a function in it. I would laugh my butt off. So let's go to 5. Let's plug you back in. Yeah, there's a fast blinking light. But, well, okay. Oh, it bound. What? This thing is smoked for days, and now it's still working. Okay, well, you know, I'll give that to an odd testament of things that shouldn't be. Wow. But yeah, don't be like me. Don't burn up your crap and then still hope it works. Positive on the middle, negative on the bottom. It's lined out right here. Top wire is always your signal wire. Bind is going to be your last set. Bind plug just joins the two outside the pins, essentially the ground and the signal, like so. Now that we're done talking about that, let's talk about the difference between this receiver and this receiver. And essentially what it comes down to is versatility. This receiver is only capable of PWM, which is where you have to have a signal wire connected to each one of these top pins. Channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's kind of an older standard of communication between the receiver and the flight controller. This is a direct replacement for this, meaning that this can do PWM in the very same fashion with your signal wires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The only thing is it cannot really use this plug because it doesn't physically fit, but it is a direct replacement for this. However, this is also capable of a lot more. It's capable of PPM communication, which is where you only use 3 wires. You use a positive and negative for power and 1 signal wire to the flight controller. Depending on your flight controller, it might differ a little bit about how you hook it up there. If you need help, just ask. But PPM is a hell of a lot less wires than PWM. And beyond that is also iBus. iBus is great. The reason iBus is great is because of the lower latency. With PWM and even PPM, your latency between what you press here and your flight controller finally receiving it is about 40 milliseconds. If you go iBus, you're reducing that to about 10. And so your response is a lot better. And when you're getting to more intense flying, that's really important. So you can also do iBus, which if you're using this transmitter, especially if it's the Eachine IA6 and not the FlySky IA6, you may need the flash at first. We will go over that. However, if you flash this, that way you can do PPM and iBus, and you get the IA6B, you're actually well on your way to a very considerable upgrade when it comes to input lag. So think of this next time that you need a receiver, and especially before you ever replace it with another one of these. That being said, we'll go through hooking up iBus another time. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you out. If your name is Wayne and you specifically requested this, you should definitely be hitting the subscribe button. Like, do all the things, all the stuff, and also check this beauty out right here. Oh yeah, this is the Space One carbon fiber frame. This thing is a beauty and it's very strong. This is on the giveaway bench for this month, so check in the link below for the January giveaway information. And with that, hope you guys have a great day.